Today is that day. Today is the day, honey. I don't know how I want to start it off. Okay, I start off like this, saying, you know how most people say that your relationship with you and your parents shape you. I believe that to be true. And I say that because when I correlate the two, my relationship with my dad and my relationship with my abuser, they kind of go hand in hand. So let's go back and then we're gonna go forth. Okay, so I can only tell you my side. Disclaimer: this is not to tear anybody's character down. This is not to diminish anybody. This is just for me to tell my side of the story and what happened in my life and my view, my perspective, right? So this is just to tell my perspective of the story. So when I was growing up, me and my dad, we really got along. Like we were really locked in. I viewed my dad as like one of my best friends, right? And I really enjoyed our relationship together, right? But it's like, you know, when you grow up into stuff and you don't realize it's toxic until you grow up or you see other people, and it lets you know like something's not right? So me and my dad, we were very well connected. My dad, he was very strict. And if anybody knows, everybody knows my dad to be a nice person, which he is. He's a nice person in general, but towards his kids, we saw a different side. I'll say that. We are brought up in the church. Our family was brought up in the church, home based in the church. We went to church Monday, choir rehearsal, Wednesday, choir rehearsal, then Bible study. Tuesday, I think they had they call it cell night. Something was going on in the church. Friday night prayer. Thursday was another cell night, and then Saturday we went for the youth. My mom and dad was over the youth ministry, and then Sunday was church. So basically, we grew up in the church, right? Church is all we know, but it's like going back home, it was a different story, right? So I can remember like my older sister. I only have one sister. My sister, she would my mom and dad used to get into bad arguments where holes in the wall would be punched, or like dresses would be flipped over, or like it was really windows bust out, glass bust out the window. It's just like it was like it was bad. It was really bad. And I'm not the oldest, but I'm like I'm in the middle, right? So they say each child gets a different perspective of their parent, and I believe that to be a little true. So my sister, she would always walk when my mom and dad got to arguing. She would always walk around the house and follow them when they're arguing. And I just thought it was just like so weird. Why is she doing that? Why is she doing this? Why is she, you know? But like she would always walk around the house and watch them, like I guess to make sure like when nothing going on. And I didn't know anything was going on. I never physically saw with my eyes my dad hit my mom. I never physically saw that. That was nothing I physically saw. But I did see them get to arguing, and I always witnessed my mom every time my dad will leave after the argument, and my mom should be, I always remember my mom sitting on the couch or sitting on the bed crying. I can remember that, and I can, this is kind of toxic now that I'm speaking it, but I can remember like consoling my mom, like asking her, "Are you okay?" Now, don't get me wrong, my mom sees something too now. All right, but I'm giving you my perspective, my correlation with the two, my relationship with my abuser and my relationship with my dad. Okay, so yeah, I remember doing that. It was to the point like it was bad. They would get to arguing like sometimes right before church, and we'll go to church like nothing ever happened, like for real. It was really bad. Come home and they're arguing. Like on the weekends, most Saturdays, they would get to arguing, and it became our normal, right? My relationship with my dad was very good. I saw this happen, right? But for some reason, I always gravitate. Girls gravitate to their dad. That's just what we do. And boys gravitate to their mom. That's just how I don't know. That's just how it is, right? So when I was little, I always gravitated to my dad, right? My dad was very strict. He wanted us to have all A's. And if we didn't have A's, he would whoop us. So we would get our progress report. This is when I was in elementary. I don't know what grade my other siblings were in. And even on my tests and stuff, I would be so happy that I had an A. And our report card, he'd be like, excuse me, he'll get everybody in his room, and he'll get their report card, and he'll look at it. And if we didn't have all A's, he'll whoop us. So me, I had all A's in elementary. I had to have all A's because I didn't want to get a whooping, right? So, but he would make me come in there and watch them get a whooping. And I'm thinking I'm going to be last. I'm thinking, so I'm just watching them crying, watching them get a whooping. Because I'm like, oh my goodness, like, stop. I yell stop a couple of times. I'm like, stop. Okay. I'm finna cry. All right. And at the end, he would give me I would go, right? I would think like once he finished whooping everybody, I would go into my room. Cause I'm thinking like, okay, this is it. And I'd be crying and sad. And he was like, I didn't tell you to go nowhere. And he'll give me $1. So this right here, things like that started to, he made me a people pleaser from this. I don't know if I went in too much into depth from that, but oh well. And I started to become a people pleaser. So I learned like everything. I had to do this a certain type of way. I had to be like this in order to get his love, right? And going back to the argument, my sister used to walk around the house, watching them, making sure. At the time, I didn't know what was going on. So fast forward a couple of years later, I get a call. I was at church. We had a tent church or something, and I get a call from, I don't know, my brother called me, or I called my brother, my older brother, and he, we were talking for a little bit, and he was like, I had to get in between my mom. He had to get in between my dad. I'm like, why? What do you mean? He was like, it looked like dad was about to hit mama. Now, I never physically seen my dad hit my mom. I've always been told, but I know my dad has a bad temper, but if anybody knows him, he's a nice guy, right? But we know the other side. His family know the other side, right? He has a bad temper. And so I was like, if I was there, da 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 da. And all my siblings, my older sister, my brother, made a vow. It was like, they said they were never getting married. I was like, I'm getting married. I'm going to get married. All right. So, you know how you can say a lot of stuff, right? If you're not in an abusive relationship, like, I'd never be in an abusive, or no, this is what I said. If I was in an abusive relationship, I'd do da 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 da. Right. Fast forward to me being into one, right? And we mind off. So fast forward to me being in an abusive relationship. It started off with love bombing. He would buy me things. No, first let's go back. We first met in choir, right? Our first interaction was a argument. That should have been a red flag. We was in the choir, and we had to do certain repetition of exercises for discipline matters. I say that matters. And the longer we talked, the longer we had to do it. So the abuser and his best friend were talking, like they were arguing. And nobody said nothing to them. But we were down there, and I was a section leader at the time. And the person that was dropping us was our president. She dropped us. So I'm like, she's like, down. Mountain climbers. Jumping jacks. That's how I go. So I'm like, dang, these people not gonna stop. So me, I said something. And then me and my abuser, we ended up getting into an argument. So after that argument, I never found them cute. I never found them attractive. I never saw none of that, right? So after the argument, he came up to me. He's like, every day I want you to speak to me. So he would literally speak to me every day. But I didn't know he had a plan, right? He felt like I embarrassed him. I didn't feel like that. I'm thinking this is how he felt. So some days I would speak to him, some days I would not. So fast forward to he started I guess having feelings, or he wanted me to be his girlfriend or whatever. So he talked to his friends, and so it really was a plan for us to get together from his friends. So they set us up. We had mutual friends. We went out on a group date, and yeah. So from there, we ended up being in a relationship. My mom didn't like him. First off, she did not like him. She would never tell me why, but she never liked him, right? So from there, he will buy me stuff like I think we had just started talking, and my birthday had just came up, and he bought me like a cover. But I wasn't expecting anything for my birthday, because first off, sir, I don't know you. Second off, you didn't have to buy me anything. But he ended up buying me a $5 cover from Walmart. Then he started like taking me. We stayed on campus, so we didn't have a lot to eat. So for us to go to different restaurants instead of having to go to the cab, that was like a perk for us, because the college we went to, it didn't have anything there. It's like snooze fest. So we ended up going there, all right. And what happened after that? He ended up started buying me stuff. He started coming around, just started having the persona on, right? So he had that persona on. He wore it, I will say that. And then all of a sudden it just switched. But before it switched, I told her, I was like, you're too clingy. Like, you know, he always wanted to be around me, and I didn't understand, and I didn't know why. I grew up with boys and tomboy sisters, so I'm like, I don't understand, like, people always having to be. I don't understand that people always having to be around you. For me, this is like, So yeah, he always had to be around me, and I was like, you be so clingy. But he continued to, you know, because he had a plan. It was a plan. So fast forward, every time we got into arguments, I used to say, like, it feel like you go home and you rehearse your speeches. Because to me, that's what it felt like. It felt rehearsed. And in therapy, I learned, like, that meant he was ingenuine. He wasn't being genuine about it. So, like, there was no genuine or honesty to it for me. Because I'm like, this feels rehearsed. Like, he'll be like, sit down, and he'll stand up. Well, I just want to say, you know, it didn't feel genuine to me. Okay? So, moving on, my best friend in college told me, he was like, we argue all the time. In college, we will argue. He's like, if he's doing this now, he's going to continue to do this. And sure enough, he was spot on. He was correct, though, because that's exactly what it is. Fast forward, ended up getting into a relationship. He put his hands around me in college, but for some reason, I didn't remember it until like a year or two ago when I saw a text message of it. But I didn't remember. So he met my mom. I didn't want him to meet my parents. He ended up meeting my parents. My mom never liked him. Every time she came around, she never liked him. I didn't understand why. She never told me why. She just kept like trying to push me to find somebody else. And it's like, the more you be like, oh, I hate him, I don't like him, the more, you know, you wanna do it. I don't know why you wanna do it. So that's what happened. And ended up moving. I ended up going to grad school, meeting some people. We got into argument. We used to have it was a toxic relationship. Got into an argument. I went to grad school. Ended up meeting some people. One of my friends, he didn't like him because he was a Q dog, and his ex-girlfriend cheated on him with a Q dog. And he also called me his ex name. This was a plot. Stay with me now. So he always used to get jealous. So boom, went there. He made arguments. I don't talk to him. We was on different time schedules too. He had nothing to do. I was in grad school. Our classes were at night. His were during the day. So we would be in class literally till 8 o'clock at night, sometimes 10, 12, and we would still flunk our test. That's not funny. But no, the classes were hard. Grad school was super hard, right? And he was like, oh, you're not calling me anymore. He got jealous. One of my friends came and wrote his name on my rug. Why is, controlling? Going back to my dad, controlling. If we didn't do what my dad said do, or play the sport my dad wanted us to play, he would not show us love. So going back to that, and I used to always sit and ask myself why my mom stayed with him and she gets treated bad. I didn't understand that. Fast forward to being in the same relationship where this man dogged me out, brought me down. He would come up to me, pour water on me out of a cup for no reason. I'm not the best person in the world. I didn't say I was, but would pour water on me just out of nowhere. Dogged me out, brought me down to his level. He moved me from my hometown to his hometown. Dogged me down, put me down, and like he tried to take my confidence. Like, he would talk bad. He never had anything good to say. And I was like, I asked him, I was like, are you bipolar? Because I really, 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 really wanted to know. Because it's like the persona left and he immediately changed, like drastically. He would come and pick me up from out for class. He stopped doing that. So it's the hook method. They get you hooked and then they turn it off. So he ended up doing that. Stopped coming to pick me up. He would be at home more. Then he started, once he got that, he started being physically, right? Pour water on me, talk down about my confidence. Like, so I ended up getting pregnant. And I was like, you didn't see the signs? You saw the signs? Yes. No, I did not see the signs. Actually, I did not. Because this is literally what I saw happen when I was little. I did not see any signs. I'm thinking this is normal. People argue all the time. And in college, he only, put his hand on me one time. And I did not remember it. No, but he flipped the table twice. He did a couple of things, okay. He only put his hand on me one time in college. And it was like we met the last 2 years of my college, right? And what I was about to say? It's like, no, I didn't see the signs. I saw no signs. But my brother told me not to get with him. My mama didn't like him, and everybody was just like trying to push me. But I'm thinking like this is what love is, because one thing I did like that they have is that their family are like well connected and well. It felt like love, right? Whereas our family, my family at the time is like we're more cold-hearted, we're more standoffish, and I didn't want that type of love, and I knew that was not love, and I wanted something different. So fast forward, ended up getting pregnant by him, dropped out of college. So he had to come with me to tell my dad that I'm dropped out and I was pregnant. So ended up, I could tell, like, looking at my dad, he was hurt by it, because I was the child, like the perfectionist, the people pleaser, everything they wanted me to do, that's what I did. And I think it really hurt them, because a lot of stuff came out that day. Not just, he did not, hold on, because I just remember, he did not come with me to tell my people that. No, he did not. He did not. But I told them before. He did not come with me to tell them that I was dropping out and I was pregnant. I did that on my own, right? And my dad was kind of like telling them, don't let me leave. Don't take her with you. And it's just like, for some reason, it's like I had my mind made up and I was leaving the house and I didn't want to be there. But it's because, like, our family, we didn't grow up with a lot of nice things, and I was like, I want better for my child. And I didn't want to be a baby mama, right? I didn't want to be a baby mama, and I didn't want to be in these streets. I wanted my child to have better and different than what I had to go through when I was little. And that's one of the things that encouraged me to leave. It wasn't just, him. So yeah, so once he got me out and moved me and belittled me, that's when the abuse started happening. It was like You never knew what day would be a good day. You never knew what day would be a good day. A good day could turn into a bad day real quick, right? So, yeah, ended up getting pregnant. He never helped me take care of my child, take care of our child. Never, if I asked him to watch the baby while I took a bath, the baby would be sitting on the floor in her, what's it called? The car seat, and he would be playing a game. The baby would be cry the whole entire time I was in the shower, and he would not pick her up. But I started taking the baby in with me to take a shower, and it was to the point where I stopped taking showers. You probably like, ooh, yeah, that's nasty. Yeah, that was nasty. All right, I didn't take showers every day. That's what I'm trying to say. But the abuse started. I was working at a job that I had to work at. I would tell him that I did not like the job. If you know me, you know I don't cry in front of people. That's in the past. In the past, you know I do not cry in front of people. You got to be a really special person for me to cry in front of you. Or I got to be having like a really tough month. But now, baby, tears could flow like the ocean. But so, like, for me to cry in front of you, you had to be like somebody I really considered to be, close. So I would be crying. I was like, I don't like my job. I hate my job. They're doing this. He would tell me I'm crazy. He gaslit me so bad. You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. We'll get into arguments. He'd be like, that never happened. This never happened. You're just being crazy. You're overreacting. You're overthinking. Stuff like that. So the abuse continued to happen, and it wasn't until we had got into it, COVID happened, and I stopped coming home because I was like tired of it. I was like, this cannot be. You ever have that inner feeling that's like you're made for more, or you're supposed to be doing something greater than what you're doing? And I really wanted my family to work. I really wanted to be married. And I really didn't want to be a statistic, a baby mom. That's really what it was. But at the end of the day, I had to think about the little girl that I was, looking at my mom having to go through that. And I didn't want my child to think that this is okay for a man to treat you bad, or talk to you, or call you out your name, or gaslight you, or belittle you. If he's not calling you your government name, baby, sweetie, something sweet and delicate and pretty, then he's not for you, right? I didn't want my child to see nothing like that. I didn't want her to see that. He would come flipping, broke the front door because I didn't want his flowers, flipping the baby's stuff over. You just never know what type of day it would be. And it got to the point his family knew about it. They'll come and fix everything. All I had to do was call him. It got to the point where I stopped coming home because I'm like, I can't do this no more. Like, not coming home for the night, but I would go sit in the parking lot of Walmart with me and my child, because I'm like, I would wait till you go to sleep, because I'm like, I can't do it. I would go to work, chaos at work, come home, chaos at home. And I would literally go sit in Walmart, because I'm like, I can't continue to do this. Like, I can't keep having this happen. It has to be more for me. So COVID ended up happening, and from COVID, He ended up getting a new position. And I'm sitting, he proposed. I missed the part. He ended up proposing. And this was either right before COVID. This was after COVID had already been started. And he proposed. And my brothers know me very well. They was like, oh, she not gonna get married. So I said yes, y'all. Cause like, what am I supposed to say? Like, you proposed to me and you done treated me like dirt and you think I'm gonna marry you? No. So I was like, I know, like, when, you know how you have your life imagined in your mind? That's how I have my life, like I had. Well, you know, tell God your plans, he'll start laughing. That's what they say. But I had my life in my mind, and it's like, that wasn't in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you talking to me bad, you belittling me, you calling me out my name, you gaslighting me, you love bombing me, and you think I'm gonna marry you? No. So he ended up proposing. I just said yes. I just said yes because I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? So ended up proposing. And COVID happened. We started being on different schedules. So I would wait in the parking lot until he would sleep, or until I thought he would sleep, like 5 or something, because we worked both of us worked third shift. And he ended up getting a promotion, meaning he had to go to work earlier, like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, so he say. And I ended up getting a new job. And the new job, I was working third shift, but then I started working first shift. So I could go to sleep later than he could. But the whole time, I'm praying to God. Let me tell you, I love God. Let me tell you, I'm praying to God. I'm like, God, please let our family work. Please let us get together. God, like, that man ain't for you. Excuse me. I'm like, God, we're never going to be a family now. Because I knew I didn't want to be a statistic. But God didn't want me in a relationship. First off, right? So, ended up getting the new job, getting proposed to like a year or two later. Still not proposed, because the same thing kept happening. And every time I asked God, like, God, give me a sign. I think I'm like merging events too, but all this, it happened. I'm like, God, give me a sign. So the sign was, God, give me a sign if I'm supposed to get married or not. God, if I'm not supposed to get married, give me a sign. When I tell you, my hand broke out. Literally. I had like a rash on my hand. The ring was on my finger. My hand literally broke out. And I thought it was from, I thought the ring probably was dirty because I had it for a year. And then I thought it was from the latex. So I worked in a lab and we had to wear latex gloves. When I changed the gloves, it kind of subsided a little bit. It kind of like wore off a little bit. But I kept asking God, like, God, give me a sign. So God was like, I guess she didn't understand that one. So I put the ring on my finger. My ring finger alone got a rash. Y'all, I'm not kidding you. I wish I would have took a picture. My ring finger alone. So first it was my whole hand. Then it was my ring finger. My whole ring finger got a rash. So I ended up taking the ring off. When I tell you I never got a rash, every time we talked about the wedding planning, we would get into a big argument. A big argument. So I started bringing it up because I'm like, okay. So I was praying. I knew I was praying. He didn't know I was praying. Because I grew up in the church, like I told y'all. I stopped going to church. Every time I would try to go to church, it was an argument. He would have an argument with me on Sunday. He never wanted to go to church. And if he did go to church, it would be like pulling teeth trying to get him to go to church. So I'm like, I'm a church girl, at heart. I know, you know what I'm saying? So I went back to church. I got my relationship back right with God. Because I'm like, we didn't even have a Bible in the house. During COVID, I ordered me a Bible. And I started listening to Transformation Church. My brother was listening to Transformation Nation, their choir. So I'm like, oh, I probably shouldn't say this. Okay, I didn't too much care for the choir, but the word was good, because if you know me, you know I used to cuss, and I could say a cuss word, a full sentence using cuss words. I used to, right? I used to cuss, and I would say a full cuss word, full sentence using cuss words. No regular words. I'm telling you. So they had this message called F-U. So, you know, they gotta get you any kind of way now. F-U. Like F, like, you know, when you tell somebody you about to, you know what I'm saying? It said F, and then it had a U. F-U. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, they up here, you know, cussing or whatever. So I clicked on it, and it was talking about, boom, gotcha, forgiveness University, right? So it was that first message that got me, and I was like, oh, okay. So it really just opened up the fact that I need to start forgiving people, right? I had a whole bunch of people, and I probably still got some that I need to forgive, right? So I ended up liking it. So on my lunch break, I just started like getting more into God, reading the word of God. I started like fasting. Oh my goodness, when I tell you, I heard from God the first time. That was the first time I audibly heard from God, and he talked about the situation, and he was like, brace yourself, we're about to land. Didn't know what that meant. He said, put it in the family group chat. Ended up putting it in the family group chat. They responded. I'm thinking it's for them. I ain't even thinking it was for me, right? So I put it in. It was a Sunday morning. I was on my church's, that's another story, baby. I got some story times for you. I was at my old church's live, and you could feel God through the phone. You could feel the Holy Spirit through the phone. So and I heard God audibly that day. He's like, brace yourself, we're about to land. I still remember to this day. He said, put it in the family group chat. Put it in the family group chat. Oh, and let's go back to the man told me. My abuser told me how I was gonna leave him. And I said, this is exactly what I said. I said, no, that ain't gonna happen. But in my mind, when he left, when I say I was so excited, I was so happy. Because I was asking God. He didn't even know. I was talking to God daily, and I'm asking God. I cried 2 years in a row going to work. I cried 2 years in a row going to work because I didn't want that job, and I didn't want to keep coming home to the same thing that I was coming home to. I cried 2 years in a row. So, I cried 2 years in a row, and he didn't know I was praying. And God was like, he didn't know I was praying about getting out of the relationship. So eventually I got out. God was like, brace yourself about the man. I didn't know how I was getting out of the relationship. God did. Hello. So my grandma ended up coming. We had a big argument about his mom. Something a viral post about the mama sitting in the bed. It was a big argument, big argument. Just started throwing stuff across the house. He just went at it. Started talking to me like he was talking to me like I was a child, and I'm not your child. And so normally I would go back and forth with him, but this time I started speaking to him. When I tell you, he got even more mad. Boy, he started flip. He was coming to get me. Ended up going into the bathroom. He was choking me. Ended up going into the bathroom. Closed the door. Pop! Put a hole through the door. say. Some people probably go, abuse is abuse. That's all I can say. Abuse is abuse. Right? He's never physically punched me. I can't say. He's never physically punched me. But he's has done other things. So he ended up going there. God ended up getting me out of a relationship. My grandma ended up helping me. Didn't know my grandma had went through something similar. She ended up helping me get out of a relationship. I ended up moving back home. So I say this to say this. I said that to say this. Be in your relationship with your parents so that your relationship with your loved ones, your significant other, won't be tarnished, right? So if I would have had, I'm not blaming my parents at all, or my dad. My dad, I just didn't understand like why he would do that to, why he would talk down to my mom and then turn on a different persona or go to church like nothing ever happened. And if we didn't give him what he wanted, he would turn his love off from us. And I started thinking like, oh, this is normal. Even my friend guys, they do the same thing. They used to do the same thing. If I don't do what they want me to do, they'll stop talking to me. You know what I'm saying? So you pick your life and your loved ones and your circle, I feel, based off your relationship with your parents. So abuse is abuse. Tell whoever you got to tell, scream it to the mountaintop if you have to, right? My dad was very controlling. Other things that I can talk about, I don't want to do that. I want to share that in the moment. But, yeah. Tell your story until you can't tell your story. Scream it until somebody may be going through the same thing that you're going through, or that you have been through. And had my mama told me, leave him alone because your daddy's or my grandma would have said that I didn't know until I went through it. And we had to spend not millions, but thousands of dollars to get me out of a situation that I had no business being in the first place, right? So y'all, tell your story. Somebody will listen. And if that somebody's don't listen, one person listen, right? Just keep telling your story. It matters. You matter, right? And just because one person did you like that, it doesn't cut you off for the future. Like, there will be a good man or a good woman to come along. And abuse is not just for women. Men get abused too. There will be a good man or woman that comes along to treat you like the king or queen that you are. So keep going. Don't get up. You don't give up. And this leads me into my book. I wrote a book in May, y'all, called So Sick from Toxic Love. Go check me out. It was really difficult to write. It was really therapeutic, really traumatic in some chapters to write. But it was very therapeutic to me. So Sick from Toxic Love. Go check it out. The link will be down below. All right, bye. Peace.